There we go. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to freedailycoaching.com. This morning is Thursday, August 14th, and we have a special guest. Now, guys, I just want to preface the intro of my special guest with this. If you're watching this and you're the Autobot, and I didn't think of this when I scheduled this, but if you're the Autobot or the Decepticon guy or whatever that's targeting the words and you're actually like targeting the people, and you're actually targeting my guest, you don't need it. It's not required for you to target me as well. You know, I'm just. It's a very loose affiliation at this point. So, but if they do decide to shut me down, go ahead. I wanted to preface it with that because I thought that was just a funny deal with all the Decepticons out there on the internet right now and all that hoopla. If you're here right now, guys, you're probably here because every Thursday we bring on industry leaders. And every Thursday we bring someone that's crushing it, someone that's done this, that has the experience and actually has the results behind them to be able to share with you so that you get the ideas, not just that, hey, this guy over here can do it and this guy's already doing it, but you can really find out that there's people that started exactly where you're at, and today's guest did exactly that. So this morning it's my great pleasure to introduce you to Mr. Ray Higdon. I'm sure that many of you on here know Ray. If you don't, we're going to give you the opportunity to go and check out Ray's blog today, get signed up onto his newsletter if you want to get more info from him. And, you know, the bottom line is this, guys, without telling you about, like, you know, I can go on his site and I can tell you, like, Ray made like $1 gazillion one weekend, and he gets to travel the world with his wife Jessica and the boys, and they get to like travel all over, and it's paid for, and he's won, you know, countless affiliate contests, and I can tell you all of those accolades. But what I think is the most important thing to tell you is I've met Ray. He's just like you and me. He's just a normal guy. And if you actually go and do some research and read about Ray and find out and listen to his story, you'll find out that he's really more like you than you probably even realize, right? He started out this deal struggling. And so with that, I want to say thank you so very much, Ray, for taking some time this morning and coming over and joining us.
Sure, my pleasure, man.
So, Ray, I don't want to really jump back into and have you tell your whole story. I mean, I know everyone does that. Everyone starts out the webinar and they're like, let me tell you the whole backstory. I want, though, for you to share just a little bit about it so that they know that it's real, that you're not like, well, I started with $1 million and I just ran a paid ad and like 12,000 people signed up on the first day and that was it. You know?
I haven't done anything since.
So just a little, like a brief synopsis so that they have an idea.
Sure. So I'll share 3 or 4 little moments. You know, parents divorced real early. Stayed up. I was born in Indiana, moved down to Florida when I was 12. In high school, I started hanging with kind of a rough crowd, and I moved out of my house my sophomore year. Didn't see my mom for a few years. And life was a little interesting there. I actually did have to testify at a murder trial, believe it or not. So things were interesting back then. Let's see. I have always been very focused in whatever I've done. I've always wanted to be the best. And so I worked my way up corporate America, had a pretty high-paying salary, or at least I thought it was. And I realized that I was spending more time with pictures of my kids than the real thing, and I didn't like that. And so I got into real estate, did pretty good there too, until the market changed, and I realized I wasn't as smart as I thought I was, and lost everything. Started off this network marketing journey July 15, 2009, dead broke, in personal foreclosure. My girlfriend at the time was paying my utility bills, who's now my wife, so that was a big win. And since we've been able to create a pretty awesome lifestyle. Had our first $1 million year last year. We sell a lot of products. We've had people pay us over $100,000 for coaching, and it's been awesome, man. So I'm just testament of from wherever you are, you can get to where you want to go. You just have to realize there are people that have struggled more than you that it will accomplish more. And so there is no excuse. You can go out and make it happen.
It's awesome. I didn't know. I never heard the. I never knew about the murder trial stories. That was a.
Yeah.
I didn't know that you ran with the rough bunch. That's pretty. That's kind of making it kind of sound low key, rough bunch, and then all of a sudden from there to the murder trial, you're like, those guys were really rough. Like
they were rough. Yeah. And just to be clear, I wasn't the saint. Not that I killed people, but I wasn't the saint. So it's, hey, you are who you hang out with.
Absolutely. Well, that's a real deal. When I got into this, no one ever, you hear all the cliches and you hear the like, you'll be like the 5 people that you hang out with most. I never knew that they were cliches when I got, I hadn't been around for a while. So I just jumped in, and when people said that stuff, I was like, okay, so I'm just going to hang out on these webinars with all these dudes that are making that are doing it. And then it really is true. Over time, pretty soon you start hanging out with these people, and they're the people that you start talking to and reaching out to, and they're the people that, like yourself, they're the people that become our mentors. They're the people become the example to say, hey man, yeah, look, I was where you are. Now come on and let me show you. So
just to touch on that now, you have to get around people that are doing better than you. And I look at my last few coaches, which have been awesome. I mean, really, really awesome coaches, and we've invested a lot of money in coaches, and I got some great stuff from them. But the most recent coach I hired has 2 other clients. One's at $60 million a year, and this guy has done stuff that we can't even fathom. And you want to keep challenging yourself. So if you're only making a little bit, look to hang out with the person making a little bit more or even more or even more, so you can constantly get better and getting around those people that challenge you, because we always, at every stage of the game, we think we know it all. Realize, oh shit, I didn't. And so that's the deal.
That awesome. Okay, so I have a question based on just what you talked about, because I know that now that I've actually met you, I've seen you speak a few times. And I've heard you share about the fact that you continue to do personal development. Both you and Jessica are doing that, and you're pretty open about like that. You spend some, it's not like you're like, hey, I'm doing some personal development. I did a $297 course. You're pretty open about the fact that you're throwing down some, it's some pretty heavy coin. Like if you're talking about some big bucks to some guy that's just started out that's broke. So do you? Obviously, you've upped the amount of I realize that the cost has increased as your income has increased. Do you have like a formula or a ratio that you like work out, like? And I'm not trying to make this comparison to offend anyone, but like some people, like they tithe 10%, or there's like a certain amount of their income that they allot for a certain thing. So did you have like a ratio, or is it just based on like a feeling that you have, like you're like, okay, I'm tapped out here, I need to grow, like you notice things in yourself, or is it a combination?
Great question. Throughout my, let me think about this. Throughout most of my life, I have really listened to my gut and really managed energy, and so I don't pretend to know what the right percentage is, and say we gotta do this much. We just kind of, I just kind of follow my gut. And I will tell you, earlier this year, we were buying this house, and we had to come up with a pretty good chunk of change, and then they forced us to pay off our pretty substantial IRS bill early, so that we didn't come in with this humongous IRS bill. So we had to pay that off early, which we never do. And so we were like, kind of like, holy crap, this was a large chunk of money floated away. And I wanted to hire, I talked to somebody, and I'm like, man, I really want to hire this guy. And and it was $50,000. And not the first time we've invested $50,000 in a coach, but it was $50,000 at a really tough time. And Jess said, she goes, I just don't think it's a good time. And I said, this is just how I think. I said, it's never a bad time to make more money. and because I'm an implementer. Now, let me preface that, okay? If you're on here and you're not, or you're listening to this at some point, and you're not implementing, you're not taking action, you're not consistent, you're not doing what you think you should do, I don't know that that's the right time to hire a coach. You know, because I think a lot of times people look externally for the things that absolutely should be internal. And so life coaching and things of that nature, it's not my deal. That's not, I never, you know, when I hire someone, I have a list of things. And this most recent coach, we have 9 specific things that, hey, these are the things we're going to focus on that we really don't know how to do. We're hoping you can help us. Motivation, consistency, sticking to the plan, that's not in those 9. Okay, that's something internally that's driven by our vision of who we want to become and where we want to go. And so, you know, in the beginning, you got to do what you got to do. You know, I couldn't hire a coach early on. So what I did was I just blindly whaled my fist in the air at prospecting and prospecting everyone and their mother, and then got referrals from their mother and prospected them too. And so I used every weapon to my availability to prospect, so I could get myself out of that hole. You know, and in 5 months, we went from, there was literally no money coming in to a $10,000 a month in network marketing to grow to 40 to 50 to yada yada. So in the beginning, if you're listening to this and you just don't, you're like, man, I don't have money to invest, then throw your freaking action at it. Throw so much action at it that you go get that money. You know, one thing that Brendan Burchard says, I love it. He says, an electricity company doesn't have electricity, it makes electricity. And so, just because you don't have money doesn't mean you can't go make money. So instead of focusing on what you got, go get it.
Now, that was awesome. I was writing down, so whenever you see me looking down, it's not that I'm not paying attention to you, I'm actually like keeping notes. I'm like writing down. I'm keeping notes as we go. So that being said, if someone, so let's say that they have the motivation, they have a reason, they're ready, they're like, yes, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna get up and I'm gonna do what Ray did. Let's say I'm gonna do what Ray did. I'm gonna go out. I'm gonna talk to every single person, which I believe is probably the best beginner strategy, because it's a fundamental skill that once you can do that, you could pretty much the rest of the stuff, you can then make a list of all that stuff you need to learn to do and pay someone and be like, can you teach me to do this stuff? But if you don't know how to talk to people, it makes it difficult. So if they're motivated, if they're ready, and besides, in addition to that, in addition to going out and talking to people and getting that fundamental skill, is there something that you would say is other than that, is there something that you would deem the most important action that someone that's just getting started, what's the most important action that they could focus on?
There's different places and different areas that I would say focus on. I'll give you a couple tactical, and I'll give you a big mindset one. So tactical, it would be, what value are you putting into your marketplace? So what content are you creating? What stuff, and stuff could be videos, webinars, calls, hangouts like this right here. What content are you putting into your marketplace to attract your target market to you? That would be one question. I call that passive marketing, where you hope an unnamed individual reacts or responds to it. That's passive marketing. You talked about active prospecting. So those are the two kind of components of an actual business. What I've found, I've taught daily routine for years, because I think people see me as just this psychotic, consistent dude, that's just every day doing stuff, and that's true, but it's not. I've found, and it took me years to realize this, I found it's not the lack of knowledge of a daily routine, it's the lack of a vision that will keep them sticking to that routine. And so I used to teach, here's my daily routine, no one would follow it, and I'm like, man, why aren't they following it? And I realized that, I don't wake up in the morning and have a checklist of got to do this stuff. It's like a pulling, it's like a tractor beam. like pulling me to go and do these things almost involuntarily. My vision is a vicious boss that dictates, like a puppet master, that I go and do these hangouts, and I do webinars, and I do blogs, and I do podcasts, and I talk to people, and I network, and I reach out to higher up. So there's all these things that I do almost involuntarily because my vision is so strong. And most people, they have a great why, and what I mean by a great why is it's commercially digestible, it's external of themselves, and they get a payoff when they tell people about it. And so if I say, I really want to spend more time with my kids, right? Someone will say, oh, man, yeah, definitely, man, definitely. So unfortunately, that's a payoff, okay? You shouldn't receive a payoff until you actually manifest, right? And so commercially digestible is always external. So if I say I want to help the kids, if I want to help my spouse, if I want to save the starving kids in Kenya, all of those things, great things. I'm not bashing those things. But they're commercially digestible, you get a payoff, and they're external. You need to look internal and then go out, okay? So internal is who are you becoming, okay? Who are you growing into? What do people, when you enter the room of your target, of your marketplace, what do people say? What are they saying about you and your marketing and your brand and what you bring to the marketplace? What are they saying? Who are you impacting? Who are you inspiring? And then through those things, what are you impacting externally? So if someone comes to me, and I've only done this 1,000 times, if someone comes to me and says, yeah, man, I'm in this, I'm in it for the long haul, I'm going to retire my wife, right? And I'll say, cool, awesome, that's fantastic, I love to hear that. Just curious, what will you guys do like on a standard Tuesday? And they'll be like, see, they haven't even seen it. They haven't even seen, they're just so used to getting a payoff. Way to go, buddy. They're so used to getting a payoff when they tell someone their why that they haven't actually visualized it. And so you need to visualize all the things you want to manifest into your life. You have to see them before they'll ever come to fruition. And, I saw myself speaking at No Excuses, at Live the Dream. I saw all these things. I saw, building, and I didn't know the exact hows, right? I didn't know that, it's going to be step 1, step 2, step 3. But I saw the manifestation of the things that I want in my life before they actually happened. And I didn't know the whys. I just did the work, continuously moving toward those, and believed in the process. And so visualization is, creating and crafting your vision of who you really want to become. It's something most people, they want to hear, well, what do I say to overcome the I don't have money objection? I'm like, okay, I can share that with you. But, when you have that vision, you're a bulletproof samurai. You're going to march through time and manifest whatever it is that you want.
Do you do excuse me, do you do like visualization exercises?
It's weird. I do meditate every day, but when I meditate, I focus on just breathing, just kind of allowing, just kind of allow whatever happens, breathing. I do affirmations. I read my affirmations every morning, every night. I don't sit there and daydream a whole lot, or do like visualization exercises. I'm not against them. I just haven't personally done that. When I think of something, I don't think of something like on a checklist. I see the manifestation of that. So I know, and I don't want this to come across wrong, but I've already seen speaking in front of 50,000 people at my own event, and I've seen it. It has to happen. It's just like that's just the deal. And if you who are really good at this, if you pay attention to interviews with athletes, like there are gold medal winners. I forget. I just saw one the other day, and it was famous gold medal gymnast dude, and they were like, "Hey, how'd that feel?" And he was like, "It felt just as good as when I saw it when I was 8, right?" And so you'll find that people that accomplish at a high level, they've seen it before. And so if you understand that, then you need to see it, right? And see what it is that you're manifesting versus where you believe you are. That's where the unsuccess lies. The unsuccess lies in people just focusing on where they are. Here's what's in my bank account, Bert. Here's what this, and that they focus where they are, and they never even see themselves as slightly better. They see themselves as worse. That's where you don't go anywhere. And whatever you're seeing, whatever you're focused on, that's going to be what shows up. So if you focus way out there, and mentors can help you extend that vision. Like my current mentor, he's already like saying stuff, and I'm like, wow, that's cool, and I'm like, I hadn't thought of that before, and that's the purpose. But you got to at least see it as better than you currently are.
Um, all right, so that was good. That's now we got tactical, we got mindset. Is everyone in the chat? I haven't gone over to the chat. I didn't even say hello to everyone this morning. Usually I say like hi to everyone. I was like, listen, I'm being selfish this morning. We got Ray Higdon over here. So I'm gonna ask one more question. This one's kind of a selfish question, and it actually works out because there's really a wide variety of people. Right, there's a different, everyone that's here, and maybe, who knows when they're watching this later, if they're on the Google Plus deal, or they're over on the Tube and they're watching it later. There's people that are just getting started. Some people are, some people are the people that have been doing it for years, right, and they've tried a bunch of different things. There's some people here this morning or this evening, whatever time they're watching, that maybe they're doing good. They've gotten some degree of success. So when you're working with people, is it different what you're telling people that maybe like that brand new guy than you're telling someone that say, and this is the selfish part, like someone that's at where I'm at in my business, I've had some good results, right? Like I've gotten some good results, and so now like my vision's getting bigger, so I'm trying to grow. So does it look different when, as a coach, as a mentor to people, does that look different what you're guiding the people to do, or is it just the same kind of basic activities? Does it vary?
Sure. Yeah, it does vary based on the goals of the client. For example, we have two, and this isn't a pitch, but just to explain where I'm coming from.
Right.
We have two kind of programs. We have a mastermind program that is the low end is $15,000, the high end is $54,000, and then we have personal coaching. I won't take people on as a personal coaching client unless they're at least at a certain amount per month for a couple of reasons. Number one, I'm expensive. And number two, when someone's at zero, it takes me a while to find out why they're at zero. They're going to unintentionally lie to me the first few sessions, and I've just realized this, and it takes me a while to kind of chip away and find out, okay, this is the real reason, right? And most of the times it's because of the past. You would think it's about action, or you think it's about number of no's. That plays a role, but a lot of times it's from a disappointment in the past that's kind of held them back. When someone are over, it's so easy. It's so simple for me to take someone that's at $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 a month and get them to $10,000, $20,000 a month pretty easily. Now, what I found at $30,000 a month is a little bit of a barrier that some people have to cross. $50,000 is a big barrier for people. So it takes some cracking to get people over that $50,000 a month kind of role. And when I say that, I don't necessarily mean network marketing. A lot of times it's selling of products and things like that. So, for the person that's brand new, there's a book out there that I would suggest reading, and it's outside network marketing. It's called Ready, Fire, Aim, very appropriately named, but it's actually not his real name, but it's under the pen name of Michael Masterson, that guy's created, I want to say 10 different $50 million a year companies, and he's just a freaking genius. But he just says, hey, there's a few different stages of business. If you're under the $1 million a year mark, you need to make sales. Make sales. Don't buy the new computer. Don't sharpen your pencils. I mean, literally, you need to go make sales. And it's a great book to kind of, snap you in. And that's the deal. You need to go make sales. And if you are saying, well, I don't know how to make sales, then find, different tiers of people who are making a little bit of sales, right? And, so you don't have to, if you're brand new, you don't have to hire the, $1 million a year earner. Find people who are having just a little bit more success than you, and then inch your way up the ladder. Go to events, get around these kind of people, attend, webinars like this. As far as the other people, like for example, my example, what has brought us to, $2.5, $3 million a year is not what's going to take us to 20 million a year, right? Because I've done very well with personal branding, and personal branding, it can certainly take you far, but there's a lot more leverage ways to get infinitely farther. For example, the mentor we hired recently, he has a company that he literally hasn't said one word about in a board meeting to the guys running the event or running the company, and it's for 6 years. For 6 years, he's had zero input, right? To say, hey guys, you might want to try this, and this year it'll cross $80 million, right? And so, there are ways of impacting, inspiring, and making a whole lot of money that isn't so attached to your personal work output. So it's not just about working harder, working harder, working harder, working harder. It is, there are some work smarter, sections in there. But as far as, a lot of times I run into people that are, 4 to 10,000 a month. That's we get a lot of those kind of people. And it is, it's really, really simple to take them and poof. Doubling is just not difficult. Most of it has to do with what you're producing personally. And this is, no offense to anyone watching, but affiliate, in my opinion, will take you so far. If you're producing products, if you're wanting to do coaching, if you're wanting to make that bigger money, a lot of times affiliate may or may not get you there. That's just my personal opinion. And then you also want to focus on what income streams are going to be there if you get hit by a bus. And that's something that if I look at my business and I'm hit by a bus, hopefully not, but if I am, coaching out the window. We have 35 different products that we could evergreen and funnelize and all that stuff. But because I've built it so much around me, that will absolutely dwindle, no question. So you got to think about things like that. Are you setting up a legacy that can go past where you are and your personal efforts of just doing more webinars, more prospecting, and network marketing, amazingly enough, is set up for that. It actually makes you appreciate network marketing more. So I could chat about this for hours. I don't know if hopefully I answered your question, or at least a little bit. It's a complicated.
Yeah, no, absolutely you did. It's an interesting, the dynamic of the, oops, I'm kicking my computer there. The dynamic of this space that we're in, and when I say this space, I consider this space to be really big, because like someone like you're dealing with a lot of different businesses and a lot of different business models where, and when you started, that wasn't the case, right? Like you started as like, hey, I'm going to do this thing, and then it's grown. And so the cool part about it's just it's just interesting to be able to get a perspective from someone like yourself that really did just start just like everyone else at the beginning, and you've gotten to develop your business into a large business compared to the guy that's trying the guy that's watching this that's just trying to sign up a guy in his company, whatever that is, the ABC company. That guy is like millions of dollars. How am I make my own products? Like what? So it's always it's just a great perspective to see how it changes, because literally it's crazy, because while it's happening, it's even when you're visualizing it, you're like, yeah, this is totally how I thought it was going to be, except I didn't visualize past this.
Right.
Like, what's next? and then and you just told me what's next is you got to go make bigger ones, dude. You got to come out and now like think bigger. You got to get mentors, people that are going to have you now thinking outside of the box again, to say, hey, where do you go from here? And and I'm just using myself for the example. Once I can see that in my mind, then I can take the actions required to get there. But I have to see it first, and it's an interesting experience as you're doing it. And when you get to like a certain place where you're like, oh man, I'm here, like I made it, and then you're like, but you didn't really make it anywhere, because you're like, oh, you know what I mean? Like conditions, like some things have changed, but you're still like, like a part of our vision is to like have a bigger farm and really be able to like grow our own food and do all that. So we have it. Like not only did we visualize it, we just made it right here. Like however many animals we're allowed to have and garden we can, we're like, hey, make a mini version of it so that we can start experiencing what it's like right now.
Nice.
Right? So now it's like, oh, I have to think of I have to start visioning the bigger farm because I'm outgrowing this farm right now.
Great.
So, guys, I want to tell everyone, I know when you saw, maybe this morning you saw that I said I was going to share the #1 secret that both Ray and I use. And it's one is kind of a fun one, and I'm just teasing, and then the other one is really a real one. And so I'll tell you the fun one first. The fun one is, I didn't realize this, but there was when I started like reading about Ray and like hearing his story, I was like, wow, this guy is like, I did like what this guy did. And then the funny part is he talks about in the beginning of his business being broke, living with his girlfriend Jessica. Hey, check it out. I was living with my girlfriend in the basement and my girlfriend's name was Jessica. I was like, hey, listen, I could totally relate to this guy. And I don't know how you feel, Ray, but personally I feel like I married up. I was like, listen, you know what I mean? Like, I'm just speaking my Jessica. I was like, listen, I don't know how that happened, especially like with this happening. I'm like, hey, I don't even know how that happened. So that was the fun super secret. We both really just have Jessicas. So if you guys want to know, get yourself a Jessica. It's a secret weapon. They work, like for reals, right? But really, I think the real super secret is this. Guys, this was one of the things that I took from Ray. When I started, I really tried to get things from all the different leaders. And to be quite honest, guys, it's taken this long for Ray to be on the free daily coaching, not probably because Ray would have come over and been here, but because I just didn't reach out and ask, right? Like that's just where I was. I was kind of nervous. But the one thing I was able to take from Ray was the example that every person in this entire space will say one thing about Ray. He even said it about himself. Everyone thinks that he's like this crazy robot guy. They're like, it doesn't matter what's happening. Ray does his blog every single day. So when I started this free daily coaching, even when it was a call, just what I decided was like, no matter what, this is because I just don't like to write. That's really the bottom line. I'd rather just talk. So I created the hangout or the call instead of the written. Now I see the advantages of both, like why I should maybe do some writing. However, that one principle, guys, that one super secret thing is absolutely the game changer between the difference of the guys that started doing this when Ray started that aren't around anymore. Like when you look around, the people that started doing this with me that are just not around anymore, that's the difference. The only difference is this. Every day I just got up and I did something for my business. That's it. So thanks for being an example, Ray.
You're welcome. Thanks. Yeah.
So that's it. We went like 3 minutes over. Thank you so much, Ray, for coming out and sharing today. Where's the best place? If people want to, if they haven't connected with you yet, is it the best place just to go to rayhigdon.com?
Yeah, I mean, that's the best place. That's where we post, the most updates, and we have a free audio over there, 29 sources of network marketing leads. So you get that and you get on the list. That's how we communicate with everyone on all the new trainings and free webinars.
Awesome. Well, I just put it in the chat, guys. I'm going to send you guys over to Ray's site. So if you haven't been there before, go check it out. And if you really want to find out a little bit more about Ray, if you don't know, go and check out the About Us page. They have an entire page. It tells all the accolades. It gives you the backstory, so you really know, hey, this is a real guy. And the great part is this. Ray told you he's only been doing this since like 2004. It wasn't, or 2009 when he started the network marketing. So you can go back and go to things that are like pre-Ray and see actually it all occur, right? That's the great part of the interweb thing. You can reverse it and go back in time and literally watch it all happen if you really want to. Now, I'm just saying, unless you're going to like be doing some parodies of Ray or something like that, why not just get the Ray of today, right? Because right now you're getting the most developed Ray. Like if you go back a year and a half, there might be some goofy stuff in there. You know what I mean? It might be a little like, what's that?
Yeah, that guy's a little weird.
Right? It might be a little hokey. You're like, I don't know about the Ray of a year and a half ago. He's a little weird. So thank you so very much, Ray.
Pleasure.
It was totally awesome. I really, really appreciate it. If there's ever anything that I could do for you, absolutely let me know, and I'm all over it. I would love to be able to, because I didn't know this year. I would love to come to the Top Earner Academy next year and maybe win an affiliate contest too. That's always fun.
Hey, awesome.
Oh yeah, and I want to thank you, Ray, for not going ballistic on the last affiliate contest that I was in with you. Because now I can say, now I can put it on video, I actually was in an affiliate contest with Ray Higdon, and I won.
Crush me.
Crushed it. I mean, he wasn't even close. Oh, that's good times. Good times. Thank you so very much, Ray. Guys, I'm going to send you over to Ray's blog right now. Get connected and go check out what Ray's doing. You guys know there's so many people that that work with Ray and Jessica that it's literally like, I could name off, I can name off everyone that you know, everyone that I know, everyone that you know. So go get connected, because these guys they're making it happen, and they're showing the rest of us how to do it. That's the crazy part. You see all these other people that are having success. It's not like they just like one day figured it out. It's because these guys are sharing it with them. So thank you guys so much. Have a great day, and we'll see you tomorrow at the Friday Fiesta, guys. Tomorrow, be here with results, the actions you took this week, and we can share it with everyone and see what you guys did this week. All right, we'll see you tomorrow.
Bye, guys.